And I am your host today. Today we have Stu Ross here from the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment, and he's going to be talking about e-invoicing, stepping beyond the PDF. So this should be a great session as we move more and more into the digital realm over time, making sure that our businesses are up to speed with all of the advancements in technologies and more efficient ways that we can do business. Now, if you're new with us, this is a great opportunity to get your questions answered by Stu, an expert here with us on Digital Boost. And you can do that by using the comment section, the Q&A function, or the chat function, depending on what platform you're streaming with us from. So I just want to thank you, Stu, for joining us this morning. Thanks so much.
Great. Hey, thanks, Anna Marie. It's great to be here. And thanks, everyone, for taking the time out to listen to this Q&A session. I know everyone's really busy at the moment, and if you're in a great part of the country, there's probably some sun shining. So I appreciate you taking the time out. So hopefully you find this session informative, and hopefully I can cover off your questions, as Anna Marie said. So without further ado, we'll get into it.
Let's crack on. All right, I'm going to drop off. I'll make sure your share screen is working before I leave this platform. Perfect. Right. Looks great, Stu. Thanks.
Fantastic. Okay. Hey, so I'm going to take you through what e-invoicing is, and hopefully take you through and answer a number of your questions. So first of all, what is e-invoicing? Well, put really simply, e-invoicing is the direct exchange of the invoice information from one system, the seller's system, into the buyer's invoicing system. So if you think about how things currently work, someone goes into their system, it could be MBIE or Xero or another software package, enters all the invoice information, the description goes in the description field, price in price, quantity in the quantity field, etc., etc. All that information gets put in, nicely formatted through that process. You then send that to a business, and if we're thinking about a PDF, it gets turned into a PDF, sent to the business via email. Someone's then got to open it and take all that information and code that into their invoicing system. Well, what e-invoicing does is it takes the information straight from one system, nicely formatted, into the buyer's system, all nicely structured and formatted. So taking that PDF out of the equation. And I'll take you through in a bit more detail about that in a moment. So I also just wanted to clarify what e-invoicing isn't. And it's not changing your business rules. So whatever rules you've got in place for processing and invoice and approving invoices, that all stays. So it doesn't take away that approval process. You've still got that control to say, yes, we need to pay this invoice, everything's correct, we can pay it, or actually there's an issue here and we might need to have a conversation with the seller. And it also doesn't mean that from day one, all your invoices are going to be e-invoices. Just in the way I imagine your business currently operates, that you get some invoices through the mail and some via email. E-invoicing just means you're going to get those two channels as well, and e-invoices. So it's really about a transition. As you've probably seen, years ago, every invoice came via mail, then a change to a lot of invoices coming via email as PDFs or Word documents or whatever else. And this is about bringing another channel in of e-invoices, and hopefully more and more invoices over time will just become e-invoices. So why would you do e-invoicing? Well, the real advantage here is around being able to connect to any system. So it doesn't matter whether you're on Xero and your buyer's on MYOB or vice versa, or on another system, SAP or Technology One. It doesn't matter. It just works because it's using a common language through the network. An analogy I like to use a lot of the time is like a phone network. So if you think, if I've got an iPhone on Vodafone, I can call someone using an Android phone on Spark. and that call goes through, that text message goes through. We can actually communicate using different devices on different networks, and it all works beautifully and seamlessly. So, and that's because it uses a common language, and e-invoicing is exactly the same. Any system can send an invoice to another system. Doesn't matter what that system is or what software they're using. It works because they're using that common standard. One of the really key advantages that we see, and we're hearing back from big businesses and especially even smaller businesses, is about this real saving in terms of processing time. The fact that the information goes straight into your system means there's not that translating of all that information from the PDF into the system. So one of the key things we see there is we're not getting errors. What we've found through some research is around 20% of invoices are delayed due to errors, information being incorrectly transposed from the PDF invoice into the system, and also by things being addressed incorrectly. But the beauty of e-invoicing is because it goes directly into the system, you don't have that addressing issue. It's already gone straight into the finance system, and you don't have issues of the wrong information being put in, because it's actually the exact information that someone's entered in from the seller's side is what you get into your system. Other really key benefit too is around the security. With e-invoicing, it uses a secure network. So the information goes across the e-invoicing network. It's not like emails that can get intercepted. I know people have probably heard over the time, the America's Cup was a famous one where an invoice got intercepted, the information got changed, and then wrong bank account details were given. The beauty again with e-invoicing is it's going direct, it's secure, it uses AS4 security technology so that the information is very secure. This is one of the things I really like about e-invoicing, and as also being a partner in a small business, I have actually experienced invoices coming direct into the finance system. And the beauty of it is having all the information that someone, the seller has actually put into their invoice goes straight into the system. So give me an example, instead of when a carpet cleaner goes and does a job, instead of just getting the information through on the bank details, which said the name of the carpet cleaning company and whatever particulars may have sort of put into the invoice and the amount, you actually get all the detail that that person has put about the job. As you know, when suppliers, provide services, generally they put a whole lot of information about what they did or the hours they worked. All that information comes straight into your system. And I guess finally, that the thing that obviously small businesses are really focused on is about improving cash flow and getting paid faster. And the beauty about e-invoicing is because you don't have the errors, because the information's straight in, you're just really speeding up that whole invoice process time, and that means that people can actually pay you faster. So how do you get yourself set up? Well, one of the first things you can do is check to see whether the system that you're using is enabled for e-invoicing. As if you're using Xero, they're already set up for sending and receiving e-invoices. If you're using MYOB, they're already set up to be able to send e-invoices. You've just got to go into those systems and they'll have information on the platform which tells you about how to go and get set up. So the really first thing is just go and see whether, hey, is the software that I'm using to either generate or to process invoices, is it enabled? Again, when you're in that system, just see what the requirements are for that system to get set up. And sometimes in most cases, it's a really simple registration process to do that. One of the other things to mention about e-invoicing, how it works, is it uses the New Zealand business number. The NZBN is the addressing details for an invoice. So in exactly the same way, like with a phone network, it's the phone number is the unique number, which is allows you to call anyone or send a message to anyone on any network or anywhere in the world, or the same with email. Email address for emails is the unique identifier. For e-invoices, the NZBN number is the unique identifier. And also for those that transact internationally, the NZBN number is a unique number, so it means you can receive or send e-invoices across to different countries that also are part of the e-invoicing network. So that's the number that we do use. So one of the key things you just need to do with e-invoicing is make sure that you've got the NZBN numbers of your buyers or of your suppliers in your accounting software package, so that you can have that set up and seamlessly send and receive e-invoices. There's a number of ways that you can get that NZBN information into your system. You can go and have a look at the NZBN website and look for individual companies. You can you could export your contact list, and we provide a service at MB to be able to match up NZBN numbers to your suppliers and your buyers. You can send those lists to us. If you go and check out the NZBN website, there's the address there for sending through to the business match service. You just export that list, send it to us. We'll match up the NZBN numbers and send it back to you, and then you can import that back into your system. And the different software companies, accounting software providers, do actually have information about how to do that if you're not sure. One of the key things too is ask your buyers if they can receive e-invoices. There's over 4,000 businesses now registered to receive e-invoices on the network, and that's just growing all the time. So reach out, find out if they're doing it, because then you can actually send those invoices directly through. And also let your suppliers know that you can receive e-invoices, and give them your NZBN number if they don't already have that. Just wanted to run through, before we sort of get into your questions, I just wanted to run through a few common questions that we get about e-invoicing, because these come up quite often. And the first one is around, do both the sender and receiver need to be registered? No, for e-invoicing to work, you only actually need the receiver to be registered. And that's really about so that when someone sends an e-invoice, that we actually know where that invoice needs to go. So that's why the receiver needs to be registered. However, both, as saying before, both the buyer and the supplier need to actually have software that can send and receive, so that that can actually work through the network. How do you know which of your buyers can receive e-invoices? The same before, let your buyers know that you can actually send them e-invoices, and make sure that they are set up. And I think I've just kind of covered that one through. Oh, sorry, yes, no, this, how do I remember which buyers can receive e-invoices? One of the things that a number of the software companies are working on at the moment is technology, so that they can check the network to see whether the receiver can actually receive your e-invoice, and tell you back. That's something they're working on at the moment. But if you try and send an e-invoice and it can't go through, your software will either just automatically resend that as a PDF for you, or it'll come up with an error and say, hey, they can't actually receive an invoice at this time. Do you want to send it as email PDF? So there's the opportunity. You're not going to get an invoice not being sent, or it not going through. You will actually have that opportunity to decide, if it can't go through as an e-invoice, that you can send it another way. So that's always available. How do you know if your suppliers can send you e-invoices once you're registered? Key thing is reach out to them. Once you're enabled through your software to receive e-invoices, let your suppliers know. It's a great way to get them connected. That way you can get that information straight into your accounting software package or other invoicing processing package, and that will encourage them to get that through to make it easier for you for doing business. What additional checks does it have for secure invoicing? With e-invoices, there has to be a reference. So if you are sending something through to someone, generally you'd either have to have a buyer reference. It could be a cost center, it might be even a person's name or details, or it could be a purchase order number. And if there's GST in the invoice, then a GST number must be used. So in the same way that you currently sending invoices, you generally need a certain amount of information that is in the invoice so that it can actually get through and get processed. Same thing applies with e-invoicing. It's not adding additional information. It's really making sure that all the information that the buyer needs to be able to process your invoice and pay you fast is included in the e-invoice. One of the really good things, especially for small businesses, is that the cost of e-invoicing is free for most small businesses through their accounting software packages. So again, just check through, but it's really just about getting the information through to you and directly into your system. And as I covered before, around how do you get the details about the buyer's NZBN numbers, again, it's a really easy way to do it. You can find it through the NZBN website or by using the data matching service. And I think especially if you've got a large number of buyers or a large number of suppliers, it's a really good thing to just export that list and send it to us and we'll take care of it. And finally, we work in partnership with the Australian Taxation Office in Australia. They're working with us to bring e-invoicing to New Zealand and Australia. We always like to have a bit of friendly competition with the Aussies. So for us, we have a bit of a personal objective within our team to try and beat them. At the moment, we're well ahead of the Australians in terms of per head of population or number of registered businesses. We would actually like to beat them in terms of absolute businesses registered to send and receive e-invoices. So at the moment, we've got a bit over 4,000 registered businesses. The Australians are about 11,000. So we think it'd be really quite good if we could beat them, and we've had a bit of a friendly banter with them over it. So get registered. It's really one of the key things with e-invoicing is it's just about being enabled. It's like putting a letterbox at your front gate so that you could actually get some invoices to your home or anything delivered. E-invoicing just means by getting set up and getting registered through your software provider means that your business is ready. And as soon as your sellers can start sending you e-invoices, you can start getting them through and vice versa. So really, that's the key thing that you really should do after this is just get your business registered, and then you're enabled for e-invoicing. And that is that's it really from me in terms of that. So if anyone's got any questions, fire them through.
Stu, that's fantastic. What a great little summation of everything that we've got going on, and a friendly little competition happening there across the Tasman over the Dutch, as we like to say there. Question here saying, are government agencies doing e-invoicing?
Yeah, good question. Yes. Well, we very much believe that we need to walk the talk on this. So government agencies are actually working towards a goal of being set up by the end of March. By the end of June this year, we'll have about 20 government agencies that are set up to receive e-invoices. MBIE is one of them. We can do that right now. There's also a number of private businesses as well. Westpac, Kiwi Bank are two that spring to mind that can receive e-invoices. And as I said, there's 4,000 other businesses that are registered for that. Yeah.
Fantastic. Lots of questions coming through, so I'll just keep firing them at you, Stu. Will it be mandatory to send e-invoices in future, do you think?
Look, there's no plans in place currently to mandate e-invoicing. Really, for us, we really see that to businesses' advantage to do it there, and at this stage is not really a need. I guess we've taken the view that we've put the requirement on government agencies to get set up and get going. And for us at the moment, it's really about encouraging businesses to get on board and do it, because there's really the benefits are just there for small businesses, especially to get paid faster if they're sending an e-invoice to a business, because then that business will be able to process it much faster without errors. So they'll get paid faster when you send them an invoice. And for you receiving an invoice, it's going to save you so much more time that you can spend on your business or just with your friends and family, just because you've got all that information, and it's just so much cleaner and faster and more efficient for your business.
You know what small business doesn't want to get paid? You know, like that's music to our ears, Stu. Another question here: does e-invoicing meet inland revenue tax invoice requirements?
Yes. Yep. And a simple answer, yes. It meets, e-invoicing meets all the requirements of the GST Act, of all the information that IRD is using. And it's actually probably a really good time to point out that one of the first government agencies that was enabled for e-invoicing was Inland Revenue. So they're currently, working through that at the moment. They've currently got that capability at the moment, and encouraging, their suppliers to send them e-invoices.
Yeah, perfect. We're gonna keep going here, Stu. I hope that you had your coffee this morning. So another question is, how many government agencies will be able to receive e-invoices?
Well, currently, the goal is by the end of June to have all 32 core government agencies set up to receive e-invoices. At this stage, we're on target to have about 20 of those government agencies all set up by that time, and about 11 of them will be actually done by the end of March. So 20 by the end of June.
Yeah, fantastic. It's some really great goals that the government's put forward to get everything lined up and streamlined and really set the example, which is fantastic. I know that a lot of our small businesses that are getting more and more digital are finding some of the benefits in this area of their business, which is the finance area. Being not showing up to their accountant with shoeboxes full of receipts is a brilliant thing, and being buried with lots of file cabinets of paperwork is also, we want to be walking away from that as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it just makes really good sense. We've digitized lots of things. Like you say, the whole accounting process has become digitized. Just all those sort of back office things that don't actually add any value to your business. They don't grow your market share. They don't improve the value of your offering to your customers. They don't improve the customer service. They're just necessary things you obviously have to do to run a business. And invoicing is one. If you don't send out invoices, you don't get any income in, and you have to process them through. So anything that you can do to streamline that whole process, make it more efficient, more transparent, and give you more visibility around those things is a good thing. And that's why we're in behind it, really. That's why the government's pushing this, because it's, for us, we really have a focus on improving cash flow for small businesses so that they get paid faster, and also just improving the productivity of businesses so that they can actually spend more time growing their business, or even just things that, and I know myself, it's like, if I'm not spending time in a business, you can actually spend time doing the things you enjoy, like going for a mountain bike ride or spending time with your friends and family and that sort of thing. So yeah.
That's right. I always love getting that commodity called time back, which is so precious in small business. So a couple of follow-up questions here. Which software packages have e-invoicing functionality? And I'll probably be able to tie in with you here, Stu, since I sit through so many of these sessions, but I'll let you head that off.
Yeah. Well, and the ones we know of, so Xero are all set up and established. So whether you, if you invoice directly from Xero, or you use an add-on that sends a draft invoice into Xero that then goes out, all those software, those add-ons and Xero are enabled for e-invoicing. MYOB is enabled for sending e-invoices, and again, any add-ons that go and send a draft invoice into MYOB, they are enabled through. Reckon is recently just become enabled for e-invoicing, for sending and receiving e-invoices, and again with their add-ons, exactly the same way, but works through that process. The Technology One, SAP, Oracle, and I'm missing one. Oh, Microsoft Dynamics. All those systems can send or receive e-invoices. Yeah, they're the ones off the top of my head that I know of at this time. As you might know of a few more.
I'm just gonna add one for the sole traders and contractors, which is Henry. That is an app that's been developed and is kind of sweeping the globe currently. For sole traders and contractors, you can invoice out through that app, and that is completely linked to your IRD account. Does all your taxes for you. So that's a really cool app. If you don't like to muck around with that kind of stuff, and it does have a cap limit. So depending on how much you earn per year, you'll only ever be charged a certain amount for their services, and then it caps out. So I guess, yeah, and you mentioned all the big ones. I just want to let everyone know, if you are interested in getting yourself ready for OFFY, end of year financials, woo, party. Next week, we're having MYOB come on the 21st of February. And they will be talking about what you need to prepare to get ready for that, when you should engage a bookkeeper or accountant. They'll obviously be talking about all things end of year financials. So do check that out. It's important, ties right in with this session that we're having today. You can RSVP on the website, or you can tune in with us on social media. So don't miss that. It says, where can I find out more information?
Oh, hey, that's a really good question. Maybe you think I should have covered it off in my presentation. We've developed a comprehensive website. It's eInvoicing.govt.nz. So please go and have a look. And we've got a range of information there, which tells you whether you're, depending on the size of your business, how do you actually get started with e-invoicing. We have a range of videos and things like that. So yeah, please do go and have a look at that, and that'll give you information. And if anything's not there that answers any of your questions, then you can contact us, and all the contact information's through on the website as well.
Now, I just want to drop that website into the chat, but I kind of didn't grab all of it. It was
eInvoicing.govt.nz.
Yep. .nz, and I'll drop that into all the other platforms as well in just a moment. There's another question that's come through that says, do government agencies have access to your invoices?
Oh, excellent question. And look, this comes up from time to time. Sometimes when we've had a few people say, well, I don't know if I want to get on board with that e-invoicing, because then can't the government see everything I do? No, we don't. The e-invoicing's a way of describing how it works through the network is like, I'll use an envelope as an analogy. We can see that an envelope has been sent. We can't see what's inside it. And that's the same like an e-invoice. We know how many are going through the network, but that's all we know. We only know that information of how many invoices are going through the network. We can't actually go in and see the invoice information. That's between you as a seller and the buyer, and we don't have any interest in that. So all we're actually seeing is traffic in the network, cars on the road, or that sort of thing. We don't actually see what's inside. It's a really good question.
Probably only until it gets reconciled and then actually like hits accounts with actual money. That would probably be when.
Yeah, and again, that's not something that we see, and I guess that's only if that information is being shared with IR, but it's no different. It's whatever, if you're sharing whatever information you're sharing at the moment through your accounting package or through to your accountant, is what you would share with e-invoicing, because e-invoicing is just another way of getting an invoice into your system. It's taking out the manual process. It's not a complete change in a sense. So really, instead of getting that paper invoice and having to code in all that information, the e-invoice just takes all that information into your system. What you do with it once it's in the system is up to you and your business. You'll, as I say, yes, I'm sure you'll share it with your accountant. You'll share it with whoever else you deem that you want or need to share that with. But that's not, what we see.
Oh, and that actually answers another question that was checked into the chat. And I just want to say that we did mention a couple of the players like MYOB and Zero, and I mentioned Henry. We have run sessions with those folks over the past year. So into last year, 2021, we ran sessions with all three of those organizations, not all of the ones that you mentioned, I'm sorry, but each one of those organizations has kind of walked us through how to do that e-invoicing online through their platform. So if you're needing a little bit of support on how to do that, just go into the search function on digitalboost.co.nz and type in the platform MYOB or Zero, and it'll take you to the archives of all the sessions that we've run and all the other bite-sized video content that we have from those providers. And just have a look for e-invoicing or invoicing, and it'll show you a little bit of a walkthrough on how to do that. And now, after working with a number of these organizations for over a year, I will say that their customer support is next level. They're absolutely fantastic. And a lot of them have learning resources on their actual website. So if you needed a little bit of support with a video tutorial, they often have that right on their platform. Do reach out to support at digitalboost.co.nz if you need some assistance with that. We are here to help, and we'd love to walk you through getting on board with some of this electronic admin, as I like to call it, because it literally will save you time. Stu's so right. It will get you back some of that precious commodity, and you'll be able to put value into things that could actually earn you more money, or, you know, give more value back to your family and friends. So, you know, this is a great opportunity for that. Now, I still owe everybody that e-invoicing website, so I'll drop those in the chats. Stu, did you want to say anything else before we kind of, I'm just going to double check on the other platforms if anybody's had any questions that I've missed. And it looks like we're okay here. So yeah, would you like to close out?
I think probably the last thing to say is really just get registered. That's probably my key message. It's really simple. It doesn't mean you're automatically going to get a whole lot of e-invoices coming in, but it just means you're ready and available. It's like putting it's like putting a letterbox at the front of your gate, or getting an email address that people can send you messages or send you invoices through that way. It just means that you're ready, and that as soon as your suppliers want to be able to send you e-invoices, you can actually receive them. So it just means you're enabled and ready. And the more businesses that get enabled and get onto the network, it just means there's more businesses that you can trade with and, or, you know, send e-invoices and receive in that way. So just get on board, and then you're set and ready to go, and you're kind of future-proofing your business.
Yeah, I think, you know, some folks, none of our digital boosters, because you wouldn't be here if you weren't about digital, but some folks, you know, are trying to push back against tech. But the only thing that I can say about that is really, we can't, you know, like it's coming. So it's better to relax into it, get prepared, because there isn't going to be the opportunity to continue on just with the way that we're going with all kinds of electronic everything. Learn something new, check it out. It is a really cool opportunity to connect with lots of businesses and to have a bit of peace of mind. It allows you to see online in real time what kind of money you have out there and what's coming in, essentially, when you have it all set up from the palm of your hand, because a lot of them have apps, and it really makes it accessible so that you know what's happening in your business at every moment when you have some of these electronic tools like we named earlier. So give yourself a bit of peace of mind and check it out. Let us know if you need any help. Thanks, Stu. Look, it's been a pleasure this morning, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Ka kite, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.